again. So thank you for coming in. Thank you, Michael's Adventures. Did you not sleep? 6 hours ago, did you sleep and you're up already? Michael's Adventures is a hard worker, man. He's been a long-time friend and shows up every moment that he can for over 2 years now. Cooking with Miss Brown. Good to see you in the house. Thank you for coming in. That's another incredible long-term supporter. I say these things so that everybody in the chat can know, so if they want to connect. Oh, I didn't look at the time before I hopped on. I actually thought I was going to be late. What I try to do streaming is just get on. So I'll set the time later than I think I can make it, just in case I am late, and then hop on 20 minutes before the stream starts so that the 30-minute notifications go out. So today they should have. Yesterday they didn't because I moved the stream. Tony, good to see you in the house. Thanks for coming in. Thank you for following on Twitter, by the way. I don't know how long you and I have been connected on Twitter, but I did notice you've been retweeting, so thank you for that. I really do appreciate that. Good Times Homestead with Jen and Steve. Good to see you here. Thanks for coming in. I really do appreciate it because you guys are keeping me motivated to keep it up and even step it up. So yesterday we were at 2.5 miles an hour, and so today we'll get to 2.6. What I'm going to do is just pump the machine up every minute by another point until we get there. Come hither with Heather from Australia. Good to see you in the house. Thanks for coming in. So we've managed to make this every day except for last Friday. I can't typically plan to be able to do this on Fridays at all. It's just I have a really full plate with some family obligations on Friday. I really don't get a chance to do much of anything else. Where I will be, they actually have a fitness room. I'm not sure what's in there. I haven't been in there yet. And I have a access key, but my key does not open the fitness room. Opens the building and the laundry room. But that's because I'm there to help out family, not where I live. Gabriella, thank you for coming back in. Oh, I see. Because of Elon. That, you know what, I swear, ever since that guy took over Twitter, I have been thoroughly amused with Twitter. I try not to get too sucked into it because what happens to me is I try to do the posts for my other channel all at once. So if I'm setting up 4 streams for the week, I try to schedule them all out. And one of the things that always happens is as soon as I go to Twitter, which I'm on a computer to do it, right? So I go to set the posts, and there'll be something there that I either think is funny or hate. It's one or the other, I guess. And I get onto that thing for a good 20 minutes every time. Scratch and PPA, thank you for coming in. First Floor Audio, good to see you in the house. I just think the guy's funny. You know, so this is like, in similar to what I think about Trump, is that most of what they're doing is to divert everybody's attention from what they're really doing, but they sure do know how to push buttons and make a lot of noise, or make a lot of ruckus. Good for them, man. Guy, I think, hasn't Elon gone through the richest man in the world thing? There was a handful of them. It was Bill Gates forever. Then it was the IKEA guy, I think, back and forth with him. Warren Buffett came in at some point, and now there's a small handful of them that keep moving. Yes, you'll notice I sit on a fence well, whether I'm speaking, whether I'm online. Anybody who's known me for any period of time knows that. And it's not so much, you know, I have opinion just like everybody else does. I get fired up just as much as everybody else does. And you know, people can make my blood boil too. But I know that online it requires, for what I want to do in the future, it requires restraint, let's just say. So I try as much as possible to be diplomatic. And I believe I've mastered the art of sitting on that fence. One of the things that people got the most mad about when I was filming the Freedom Convoy stuff last year is, well, why don't you take a stand? Why don't you pick a side? Because I kept on saying, I'm just here to film. And I'm not not worried about somebody who's there for 2 seconds and never coming back is gonna say. But the other thing too is there's a choice. When we're talking about politically charged content that goes against the mainstream narrative, we have a choice. We can either talk about it and run the risk of having the whole content shut down or deleted, or sit on the fence, let everybody see what's going on, and they can argue it out for themselves. Because when we talk about different opinion, and especially with politically charged stuff, if you want to argue the left and the right and the Democrat and the Republican, and in Canada we say liberal and conservative and things like that, it doesn't matter what you show anybody. In almost every case, both people on different sides see and hear everything differently. I had somebody who I consider to be much more on the left than I am. Their assumption is that I'm much more on the right than they are. Let's just say, and you know, for the most part, it's got to be true, right? But they said to me, the people on the right refuse to listen. And I'm like, what do you think I heard more than anything else from everybody at the Freedom Convoy last year, where there are a lot of people on the right? They said the people on the left refuse to listen. And it's so funny because I promise you, the arguments seem to be the same on both sides. Not saying I'm right, but you know, that's what I really think actually. Yeah, it's too bad, Tony. You know, I love having healthy debate. I really do. I love like the idea of saying, convince me, or not necessarily convince me to your way of thinking, but please show me what I'm not seeing that makes you think the way you do. And I always, one of the things I do find about myself, like over a lifetime now, is that I often defend decisions even when I'm wrong, not to try to convince you that I'm right, but to say, listen, I'm not an idiot. That's not why I thought what I did. I was just wrong this time, you know, or something like that. But you can feel it out pretty quick. One of the things I don't like is that when somebody starts pushing somebody else's buttons and getting them fired up, when it doesn't stop, you know? And I know the internet's full of a lot of that. Reddit's a evil place at times. I'm gonna pump this treadmill up a little bit. But, you know, let's say even in real life, you know, you're looking in somebody's eyes. You can see that they're getting upset about what you're saying. You can tone it down and still get the point across, I think. Maybe not always, but you know what I mean. Let's see if the robots are working. I just realized last night now that all of the robots are probably not working on most of the channels. So we're looking for 4 of them: Stream Elements, Botissimo, Nightbot, and Streamlabs. So they should be here. They should be doing what they're supposed to do here. This is something I'm gonna add now into all of the robots. One of the things I'm almost happy about the fact that I've procrastinated so much in making tutorial videos about these things is that this is something I'm gonna suggest to everybody now, is to just put that in as a moderator or public or broadcaster only command, so that people can always check if they wonder if those things are running. Yeah, it's grown since I've said it. And sorry, where was that you saw that? Good Times Homestead with Jen and Steve? Well, see, one of the things that there's I can't remember what it is now. There's something out there that grades stuff, and I can't remember if it's for YouTube channels or not. I think it is. Maybe Social Blade. Is that what you're talking about? I'm not sure. Social Blade, blade as in knife, socialblade.com is a free website that gives you statistics, and it's kind of fun to play with because it can give you estimates or predictions as to when you're going to hit milestones. When will I get 100,000? When will I get 1 million? You know, views or subscribers. So it's fun to play with. Yeah, that I wondered if that was it. And the thing is, like, even when you punch in some of the most popular YouTube channels that are clearly like well over 10 million subscribers and stuff like that, it still gives them like a B, you know, or a B+, and you're like, come on. I don't know what they're doing there. I'll bet if they have clients, their clients' YouTube channels might have a chance at an A or an A+. So you just got to take that stuff with a grain of salt, depending on what the marks are that they give. I haven't looked at it in a while, actually. Oh wow, first floor audio. Yeah, that's got to be frustrating. Here I've had some bad luck with routers. First, where I was home, we solved that. Kristen went and replaced the router, but where I am, where I work, is almost the same thing. And apparently lightning storms and electrical surges and things can wreak havoc on these things. First floor audio, you know, everybody gets there. This is what I think, right? So a lot of people will have their YouTube channel and they'll chug along for a little while. But if it truly is in you to want the 100,000 or the 1 million, you will start to pivot and move along, right? So this is a bad analogy maybe for what we're talking about, but somebody that I follow all the time, I read his daily blog, is Seth Godin. He's very much loved as a social media influencer and marketing genius, literally. And I follow, I wouldn't say everything he does, but he's just one of those guys that I make sure every day I wake up to his email, which is a blog. Anyway, so he puts it like this. When a plane takes off from Buffalo and is on its way to Dallas, let's say it gets, 100 miles beyond in the air on its route, finds out it's going the wrong way. It doesn't stop and turn back and go back to Buffalo. It just adjusts its course until eventually it gets to Dallas. Now, it might have taken a little bit longer than they expected in the first place because they went off course a few times, but the pilot knows how to solve that, and they learn through experience. It's not nearly the same thing, but if we want to just be optimistic, we could look at that. You start your YouTube channel. A lot of people will ask me about changing their name, or should they niche down, and things like that. And a lot of times my answers are not assuming that you're trying to get there this year, because YouTube can take years, right? I know there's luck in the world. I know there's people who can build, millions of subscribers in 6 months and stuff like that, but that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about long, consistent work that eventually becomes more growth than we expected before we started. I think that might be something that we forget as well. It doesn't have to just be YouTube, but before you started, a lot of people might be like, oh wow, 1,000 subscribers, you have to be monetized. If I had 1,000 subscribers, I'd be amazed. I'd be so happy. But as the journey continues, you start to meet more and more people. You meet a lot more people that have more subscribers than you. And I'm not talking millions or hundreds of thousands. I'm just talking about, like, even in the Tuber Chat family, we've got channels now that have come in starting with almost zero and now surpassed 10,000. And I can imagine in some cases it's hard to watch, right? Because you wonder, like, but why them and not me? you know, especially if you can't see the difference between their videos and your own, or their journey and your own. And I don't want anybody to compare themselves to anybody else. A little friendly competition can be fun. Two Pineapples is doing very well now. It was funny because they long surpassed my personal channel, and we've become great friends. We've spoken many times for hours on end, right? And they've shared a lot of information, and they are very much into their journey, but they surpassed my personal channel. Then I went to the Freedom Convoy and passed them, and now I believe they've passed me again. And it's kind of fun to play around with those ideas, but the truth is, as much as I want everybody to be successful, it doesn't matter to me how much other people have. I just want what I want. If you think about a manager of any kind, but let's just say a manager of music artists or a manager of celebrities of any type, if the manager's taken 10% of each of their careers or income, or whatever you want to put it, the manager's still going to get what they want. They're still going to be a millionaire. They don't have to be a singer or an actor or anything like that. And I know that doesn't, exactly relate, but we're just here to talk, so hopefully you find that entertaining, if not anything else. Thank you, Corner Clubhouse. Mona did what? Good to see you here. Thank you for coming in. Thank you, everybody. Let me get this thing up. Okay, I was at 2.5. I meant to speed it up earlier, but I almost forgot we got to stay an extra 10 minutes today, or I do. Because yesterday, yes, my table arrived. And we put it together for the most part. It takes 2 people. So I gotta just get a hand with that in a few hours. My friend actually just stopped his stream really late, so he'll sleep in today, but we will get that thing together. I don't know if I'm going to be able to film anything today or not, but I'll be back on Tuesday and be able to get something accomplished. But we'll see. Anything's possible. Tuber Chat today, I moved. It'll be at 6 o'clock today instead of 2 that I expected, because I need that table put together. So I'm assuming this guy's going to get up before 5 p.m. That means we'll get it done before Tuber Chat starts. But it's very important because, December's already passed. I don't want January to get away from me. Yeah, Good Times Homestead with Jen and Steve. Okay, so here's an example. My friend last night brought in over $1,000 in super chats and memberships or whatever, probably just super chats last night. Now on the channel that he's doing that on, I think it's still under 4,000 subscribers, but this is the guy I run channels for. Like, I started his channels, we did all the videos, he does a lot of streaming. And he does have a very likable personality, and he knows how to play the game well. He's built this up over a long period of time, but I think last night was a record stream and completely unexpected. He usually doesn't go on Wednesday night. He usually goes on Thursday night. But that's possible. When you think about this, 2 years ago, he did not even know the people that were super chatting him last night. And we're talking like 100 coming in, another 100 at a time. And I can imagine how somebody can watch that. I see a lot of creators or hear from a lot of creators, and you can just tell that they're getting really upset. Blood is boiling watching other people get that money. Now, here's the thing. When somebody sees another person get a $100 super chat, it's easy to think, well, that's too much and I want some of that, or I need that super chatter to come to my channel so that they'll do the same for me. But everybody's different, and I promise you, what I've seen in the last 5 years, there is lots of that out there. There are plenty of people with plenty of money who are extremely generous, and if you just stay long enough, keep at it, and do the right things to grow and not get upset and argue with everybody and everybody else, you may be eventually in line for some of that luck as well. And that's the thing too. Yes, Mona did what? That's well put. It's something I forget to mention. But hopefully you enjoy the YouTube journey. I'm sure we can all agree that it's more work than we all thought before we started. Especially as time goes on and you learn that there's more things that can be done than you want to do them, and it becomes hard to keep up with everything sometimes. But, even the frustrating things, or the things you don't exactly enjoy one by one, perhaps you do enjoy the whole process, right? I hope so. And doing something that you love is part of it. So, I can't tell you how many times you've seen it in Tuber Chat, how many times people have changed their name and changed it back. It's almost everyone. Within 2 weeks or 4 weeks, they change it back, because changing your name isn't going to make any difference at all as to how many people are going to come to your channel. I promise you, it doesn't matter. And as for the name of the channel, it's nobody's business. It's not my business. In my opinion, you don't want to care if anybody likes it or not. Most of us are following channels regularly and enjoy channels with names we would have never thought of. So it's just an idea. See how passionate I am about this stuff. Way more work than we all thought, I'm sure. But First Floor Audio's built up quite a community there. There's always something going on. And as time goes on, we're going to gain instinct to understand what people enjoy, what they don't enjoy. At some point, you're going to have to try things that might not work. And that's a thought too, right? The other thing so I'll tell a story as well. Most of you know, or some of you know, that I used to work in radio for most of my adult life, for 20, 25 years, whatever it was, right? And what would happen is somebody would call the radio station. People to this day still call. A lot more people call, and they still have text. I still keep in touch with a couple of the people I worked with in radio. I listen to them, when I'm in the car and stuff, or if we're working and driving in between gigs. And you only hear from 1 out of 1,000 people. Only 1 out of 1,000 people will ever call a radio station to say anything at all. And most people who don't like it will just turn it off. They won't call. They won't tell you how terrible you are. The internet is different because it takes no effort, and people really need an outlet, so we get a bit of that. But the idea is that you only hear from a very few people, the 0.1%, And a lot of people want to be liked. They want to appease you, so they will say nice things. Some people can't help but just squawk about everything that you do. So, I know a frustration for some people over their journey is the fact that other people will tell them what they should or shouldn't do with their channel. And I get it too. For those of you who've been with Tuber Chat for any amount of time, you've probably seen a couple people come in. And what happens is they only come in when they're close to a milestone. And as soon as they get there, they realize their channel is not going to get on the screen for an hour. And then they start telling me I shouldn't have the wheel, and, the Tuber Chat's no good and everything else. Yeah, of course, because you want what you want. The problem is we got to try not to listen to that. When it comes to the name of your business, when it comes to the name of your channel, your avatar, your banner, it's nobody's business but your own. You can, take feedback and instinctively change things, but the whole idea of is Pete gonna like it? Is Kevin gonna like it? Is Michael gonna like it? Is Jen gonna like it? Is Lee gonna like it? Doesn't matter. When you have a child, You name the child. You don't take a poll. You don't ask everybody, what do you think I should name my child? You just name the kid, and years later, their name has come to mean something, right? So just an idea. I know I'm making far stretches in my analogies here today. I just really wish, for everybody to be happy. I know that when you think about this too, think about real life, right? And I say real life, I just mean off of YouTube, like your family, your friends, people you've known that you've cared about, have cared about you over your lifetime. They know how to push your buttons more than anybody else in the world. But people online learn to do it too. If somebody's telling you what you should do with your channel, it's because they think they can. It might not have anything to do with you. They might do that to everybody. They might just be that way. I just don't want anybody to succumb to that, or feel obligated. You question yourself, and that can lead to a lot of procrastination. Maybe I shouldn't do a video this week because I'm not getting enough views on my cooking videos. Maybe I should be doing diamond painting because I'm good at that too. I don't know. Yeah, Mona did what? That's common. Tuber Chat's a different kind of channel. It's a utility. People are there for the channel, not so much for me. I know people come to like me over time and this and that, and I do appreciate it, but it is what it is, right? It's meant for people to come in, work on their own channels, meet more people, get more subscribers. So there are a handful of people who come in only when they're hitting a milestone, and you can tell because they say it. There's nothing wrong with announcing that you're close to a milestone, because we should be celebrating those things. It helps. The small wins lead to, the big win in the war, if you want to put it that way. But, you'll see it, and it almost makes me laugh. You see somebody that hasn't come in for 2 or 3 months. They're like, oh, we're getting close to 600. And then you don't see them again for a couple months. They come back and, we're getting close to 700. It's like, well, it's nice that you're close to a milestone, but nobody in the Tuber Chat channel is coming running to you because you're close to a milestone. That's not what we're there for. And it's been around too long. So, the system works. Everybody's doing just fine. Things are growing. And an idea might be similar to what I understand from Derek's journey. I should reach out and see whether I should join the Steps Challenge. I don't know if it matters that I can't be here on Fridays or not, but the idea is that maybe you want to just improve month by month. It would be nice to make a long stretch. If you watch your analytics, you'll find that there are ways to improve and goals that you can set for yourself. Like with Tuber Chat, for instance, we were getting 100 subscribers a month for a long time, almost forever. Ever since the purging started a couple of years ago. It was about that much. And if I don't have enough opportunity to be online and work as hard as I can, it drops to about 70. But I can certainly do a few things if I prioritize and pump that number right back up over 100. I haven't been able to get it far over, but I haven't had the time to try, so we'll see. No, Good Times Homestead with Jen and Steve. I'm not home on Fridays. I've got family obligations and a lot of errand running to do and stuff, and there's just virtually no way. So I'm looking into it. One of my family members has a building. I'm there every Friday for some period of time, and they do have a fitness room. So I'm going to ask now, because I stay there occasionally, if they'll allow me into the fitness room. Then I might be able to do it, or will be able to do it, but I can't bet on that right now because I don't officially live there, right? So I really don't know what they'll say. It didn't occur to me until last week that they had the fitness room, but I'll ask when I'm there tomorrow. I just got to remember today to stay for the extra 10 minutes. I don't want to forget half an hour from now. yeah, I can't. I go off on so many tangents when I talk. I can't. Thank you, Coastal Water. Thank you for that. I can't remember where I leave stories and run off on other tangents. But anyways, that table that I've been going on and on and on about has arrived. We just have to finish putting it together, and we didn't get a chance yesterday. And you can see me rolling my eyes, just because there's so many things in life, you know, and you want it done. It can't be done by one person. It can't. I'll either, you know, I'm not afraid of hurting myself, but I'll smash the thing. So it's got to be done with two people. It's a heavy piece of furniture. I'm happy to have it, and you know, I've been staring at this thing for a year before finally buying it, but we're ready to go. But everything takes a little bit longer than I think it should sometimes. But anyway, we'll try to get that thing going and start filming. Again, I don't know if I can film something tonight or not. I might be able to. If I can, I will. Something quick. I brought a bunch of records with me. I brought my webcam with me. I've got, I don't remember what else, to just get something done. Yes, that's true, Tony, eventually. Now, nobody needs what I am getting, you know, and I don't want to go too far beyond the thought of you don't need equipment, you can just use what you have. But now I'm at another point, because I have been on YouTube for 5.5 years, and I hear myself saying it, and pretty soon I'm going to have to say I've been here for 6 years. And someday, soon, somebody's going to say, in 6 years I haven't seen you improve. So there's subtle improvements in video production. Obviously, I will talk a little more, I don't know, fluently without tripping as much, and things like that. But the production value has to increase at some point. One of the reasons I've never done the Tuber Chat videos is because I haven't had a place that I think is appropriate to film. And I know that that's an excuse, and I wouldn't accept it from anybody else. But I promise you, this is when you get a chance to see that the thoughts that go through my mind might be similar to what goes through either your own or other people that you talk to. You know, it's not a matter of being a perfectionist, but it's in the ballpark and saying, I don't want to do it if it can't be done right, so therefore it doesn't get done. And now it's almost 3 years of Tuber Chat, and I'm still talking and not filming. But we'll see. Thank you, Jen. And Wolfsbear Productions is in the house. She did a marathon stream yesterday. I'm assuming that that's footage. Now, it was weird because I was on Wolf Spirits, and I let a few windows run all at a time. If I can be on there and I'm actually working on the computer, I tend to jump from stream to stream every 15 minutes or so, right? 16 minutes. But in Wolf Spirit Productions' case yesterday, she had a gesture cam video going on, and I kept it on for the length of it. I was there the whole time. Or it was on the whole time. So I had left work, like gone out, I think twice, came back and it was still on. There was one time that she was out, and you were talking about a parking lot, and I think you said that one was more difficult than others, and I'm assuming it was for parking, for backing in. Looked a little bit tight for truck drivers. I've never, had to back in a truck like that, so I don't know what it's like, but I know professionals know what they're doing. I'm amazed constantly when I see these people, back their trailers in between two trailers, and there's only inches in between and they don't hit. I don't know how that's done. But in the stream, it was mostly the gesture cam, but there was a point, she must have got out of the truck and was doing something in the parking lot, but I missed that detail. But that was a long stream. Yeah, Jester has a lot of videos on that channel, a lot. Yeah, I didn't catch much detail there, Will Spare Productions. I was on and off, and actually we were filming, not for me, but for the guy that I run the channels for. We're trying to get to a point sometime this month where we'll have enough videos, myself included, that every channel will get a video every week for the whole year, and no slipping. So we'll be able to do it on most of the channels. Yeah, thank you, Shane. Shane from Paralife TV. Many times I have observed him working out on his channel. Yeah, 6 hours, that's a long stream. Michael's Adventures once a long time ago said I should do a Tuber Chat marathon. And I think it could be a fun idea, but I don't know how I'd do it with my voice. You all know how I talk. After 2.5 hours, it doesn't matter what I do. It starts to get scratchy. As I continue here with the treadmill and hopefully start eating better and things like that, perhaps that will stop, because if I can get off all of the carbonated pop and stuff, I have a feeling that's straining the voice a little bit. Oh, Will Spare Productions going on again. I gotta ask you again what you're doing for a plan. See, Will Spare Productions is for argument's sake a truck driver, right? So her and her husband are out in the truck constantly, and they do these streams where they're ride-along streams. When you think about it, that means they must be running on a mobile plan. Not to mention, I don't know how you're getting from area to area without dropping the signal, because I know the states to have long areas where there might not be signal. I'm just guessing from what I know from looking at it on a map. And, you know, I haven't been there much in the last, 10 years, but around 2002, 3, 4, somewhere around there, maybe even 5, 6, and 7, I spent some time there. Things will have improved by now, but when I first started going to the States regularly, we got to Pennsylvania. We were going to run parties in Pittsburgh and Harrisburg, Philadelphia and Harrisburg, and they didn't have high-speed internet yet. And we're like, why don't you have this? It's 2000 and whatever it was. I think 2002, 2003 by then. But they were behind at the time. I got a friend who now is planning a stream. The guy I run the channels for, he's going to try a marathon 12-hour stream next week. Oh, it can be done. When I was doing the Freedom Convoy stuff, we were out there. I had to take breaks. I just am not in the same shape as some people. Can't stay out. The weather was just awful between the rain, the snow, and the minus whatever it was weather. It was freezing cold, layers and layers and layers of clothes, and battery packs and all that stuff. But I'd be out for what I believe was 4 or 5, 6 hours, and then take a small break, and then be out for another 3, 4, 5, 6 hours. The chat helps keep the stream going, right? That's kind of what I was counting on here doing this. And it's working, so thank you everybody for being here, because you're keeping me motivated to keep it up and even step it up. We've been doing 2.6 on the treadmill today. But the chat is what keeps the conversation going, right? So for anybody that hasn't live streamed yet, if you're thinking about doing it and you have a channel, then I would encourage anybody to try. Because whether it's filming or whether it's going live, you can always do it and then not use it or delete it afterwards if you don't like it. When I filmed my first video for YouTube, which was not on my channel, I had said, we're filming our work today, and I don't care if we use it or not, but we have to try. And we did, and we used that video. And I'm sure our videos now are much better than they were the very first time. but I think most people will probably be surprised that things come out better than we imagine when we think about it too much. Okay, thank you, Mona did what? Thank you for that. The Stock Explorer, good to see you in the house. Thank you for coming in. Stock Explorer is going live Monday, Wednesday, and Friday right now. I'm going to do an interview on her channel next Saturday. So I'm going to be on Have Cheetah Will Views channel this Sunday and the Stock Explorer the following Saturday. I haven't been doing a lot of these interviews for a long time, but I've been looking forward to them and hoping. So over the next few months, I plan to do quite a few. And I say interview, but it really just turns into a conversation. But we usually talk a lot of YouTube, deeper dive stuff than I can get into on Tuber Chat. But Stock Explorer goes Monday, Wednesday, and Friday right now. Yesterday I had to run out on a raid we had planned, but we'll make that up next week, either on Monday or Wednesday again. Oh, Good Times Homestead with Jen and Steve. That must be fun. You know what happened when my table arrived yesterday? They gave us a brand new pallet. And I know that those things are worth money now. In Canada, my understanding is people are paying $20 to $30 for a pallet. And this thing's custom. It's made exactly for the size of the table. Table's 150 pounds, so they needed it. But I got back to the house. It turns out my friend had come out and helped get signed for the thing or whatever, but I had to run anyway. When I got there, I saw the driver was still on the street. I guess he was waiting to go to his next thing. It wasn't a huge truck, but just a cube van. And the pallet, I said to the guy, I go, do you need the pallet back? You know, and because the table's sitting like on it, right? And he was like, no, I don't want it. He goes, I already closed my truck up. So, you know, that's just a driver, maybe not interested in the, you know, what that is. But then again, the table is expensive enough that they could throw in a $20 pallet. But my guess is that that thing is going to turn into firewood now, because while I did ask the guy, do you want it back? I know exactly how valuable those things can be, but and it's brand new, that one. But I'm sure my friend will chop it up the next time he goes to a cottage or something. Oh yeah, that was unexpected. First Floor Audio. We were just finishing. It wasn't an official raid, right? When I do an official raid, we could do it better because I can say, start dropping a link 15 minutes before people start trickling in, and then it's kind of more almost official, if you want to call it that. But just at the last second, I put that in, so I'm glad a few people came over. When I was a kid, my dad used to drive all over the city, anywhere that he could find somebody offering firewood, and that's how I'd spend my Saturdays. And I was so miserable. All I wanted to do is play video games, and this guy would have me out helping him get firewood from everywhere. Till one day he snapped back at me. He said, well, you like having fires, don't you? Because in the winter, every day I'd come home from school, and after I was old enough to be able to light the fire myself, we just had a wood stove in the house, then I would have fires every day I wanted the fire on. And, you know, you like having fires, don't you? Then can you not complain when we go and have to get the wood? And, you know, we carry the wood into the house. We had a big thing he built outside, just a makeshift cover to hold a bunch of it, and then we'd have enough wood inside for, let's say, a week if you filled it and never refilled it, right? But now I understand, you know. People, yes. What is Stream Elements doing? Oh, I see. I've got to chop down that message. Stream Elements, that one message is too many characters. I'm trying to figure out what on earth they're talking about. Yeah, that makes sense. I didn't think of that, Tony. Yeah, it's the logs from the trees, right? When they bark, he's either on it or comes off it. There's a little bit of either wetness or sap or something inside. Starts to pop and shoot ambers everywhere. If they could ever find a way to have a fire pit with a desk and 3 computer screens in front of it, I'd be outdoors all the time. It's weird that I'm not more involved in outdoor activities, because when I was a kid, I was also a Boy Scout, so I'd go to camp. One of the things my dad was great for is he would always be involved in this stuff. And I don't think it was as much about being there for me as it was about him actually enjoying it. He really loved it. Loved being a part of it, loved the actual activity. So whether we were camping or whatever, I was a part of a Boy Scout troop that was a bunch of wild cards. We would, just be the most horrible group for anybody to have anywhere we were. We were loud. We would have disasters. One camp we showed up at, this is a true story, we had 2 troops with us, so I forget if that's 10 guys or 12 or a little bit more, whatever it was. And the other group burned their food down within half an hour of being there. I don't know what they did. And we were known for that kind of activity. So everybody had to contribute food to try to help us out and everything. But we would win lots of stuff. We would win all the time. One of the things, ironically, that we did great at is building fires. So I wasn't one to get a lot of badges and stuff, because I need instant gratification all the time. I wouldn't take the time to learn and earn badges and things. But our group would do well. Oh, interesting. Yeah, Tony, that sounds like a great way to get that done. Yeah, if I was ever to build a fire pit for myself, I mean, who knows, maybe one day, right? Canada's closing up. I say Canada, but it could be my province, Ontario, but they're closing up a lot of areas where people might have been able to have fire pits on their properties. You got to get way outside the city for that now. It's illegal, and neighbors call on each other and stuff. Sometimes you can't blame them. You know, we've all probably seen a time when somebody starts a fire, and whether it's their fault or not, they smoke out everything. Maybe putting stuff in there that they shouldn't or whatever. Nobody wants that coming in their windows. But if you go a few lines outside of a small town, you could still find places where you can have fires, things like that. So who knows, one day maybe, right? But I would probably take Tony's advice on that, because it does sound like a good idea. You dig down a little bit and have the bricks all the way around. I can always get bricks, but have them a few inches above ground would be cool. Oh, that's kind of cool, Tony. That's interesting to think about. I haven't seen anything like that I can think of. I think it's possible in some areas here actually to have a fire pit of sorts if you buy it, if it's one of those ones you buy from a store, and it might have to be propane or something, and you have to use it for cooking. So what anybody would do is just have a pack of cheap hot dogs beside them, just in case somebody showed up. You could say, no, we're cooking, we're using this for food. Oh, interesting. Okay, I see, Tony. Yeah, because I work in so much construction, we always have bricks available of some sort, even if I had to take like interlocking bricks or something. But it's only imagination. I don't expect to be doing anything like that anytime soon. Someday when I have my 100 million subscribers, right? John H. Shelton from the UK, thanks for coming in. Hopefully Scratch and PPA is back to 100% or close to it. And thanks everybody for hanging out. So we're finally doing what I wanted. I kind of stagnated there for a couple of days and stuck at 2.3 miles an hour on the treadmill. But we started moving it up again. The idea now is, I don't care. I don't care whether I sweat and have to huff and puff. At first I didn't want to, of course, right? But now it's more frustrating that I'm not moving faster here. And this is what I talked about in the first couple of days, is by doing anything, it kind of makes you want to do more. Not that I've done a ton of this in my life, but I've done the smallest amount. And one of the things I've been considering is actually going twice. So coming and doing this walk in the morning, because we're really just here to walk. Doctor says I got to walk, so we're walking. And then it's good to know that Scratching PPA is feeling better. And you know, part of me wants to get here and like do something a little more productive in the way of the fitness. But then again, you know, most of you have been here every day, and I do appreciate that, but I've been saying, you know, it doesn't matter, because a few weeks from now we'll be where we're aiming for anyway. Once I'm doing 3.5 kilometers on the treadmill, that'll be fine. I can't remember whether I ever got to 4 or not. I feel like it, but I also feel like it was too fast. I don't know. We'll know in a few weeks. But the other thing too is, you notice that when I'm talking about that stuff, it's always about the future. It's not about, you know, necessarily I'll be here tomorrow or I'll be here the next day. I'm looking forward to expecting to be doing this permanently, right? That's why it's not a race. Because next December, I hope to be having the same conversations every morning. Maybe different topics, but you know what I mean. And by then, all of this won't matter. I will feel better, sleep better, have more energy, and have probably lost some weight by then too. But it's not about today, not about next week. It's interesting, a couple of people have messaged now to offer to join the idea, to either be walking on their own at the same time while listening or watching, or planning to join me as well, which is cool. That's really, really cool. Because I wasn't expecting that. It's something I didn't really actually consider at first. I do have to see what Derek's journey's up to, because he does a steps challenge every other month, I think, right? So a couple things are actually better. I can't be sure about sleep, the Stock Explorer, because I'm tired today, man. I slept last night. I don't remember what time I actually went to bed, 11 or 12 like usual. Didn't get up till after 8, still tired. So I don't know why that is. We'll see how the energy is through the day. But one of the things is, because I sit so much, especially in the winter, I have minor back pain. Nothing that like heals me over, nothing that I have to take prescription stuff for, things like that. Just naturally, like, you've been sitting for beyond 12 hours today, almost 16 hours. Because I literally, like, get up, I hit the computer. You know, and except for getting up a couple of times during the day, usually to eat, I'm sitting. But that's all but gone now. I haven't been in much of that pain for a while. Usually happens after long drives too. If I'm driving for over 2 hours, then I feel it when I get out of the truck in the next morning. But that seems to have improved. That improved after the third day. So that's wonderful to know. Oh, and thank you again, everybody, for being here. So I still got 15 minutes to go, because I got to make up that 10 minutes from yesterday. Driving for 10 hours, I can imagine Will Spare Productions. I did consider it. I did. It's always on my mind as an idea. If, you know, it's nice to have, let's say, options, right? No, I haven't done any of that corner clubhouse. I'm thinking about personal training. I really shouldn't talk about it if I'm not going to absolutely bother with it, but I haven't been. I haven't been doing anything like that yet. I know I should. I promise you, I have a handful of excuses not to do it. Oh, a bike that goes under the desk. Oh, maybe. Actually, I'm hoping to switch to standing desks. Good Times Homestead. It's probably going to be a few months before I do that. But what I would like to do is, at least when I'm doing tuber chat, be standing. You know, or for a few hours a day when I'm on the computer. Gabriella, I'd be willing to take a look if you'd like. Have to be honest, when I talk to people about their channels, I tend to be a lot more positive than probably people would like. But I promise you, we think that we want to hear honest feedback about our channels. This is why I don't do it on Tuber Chat. We think we want honest feedback, but if we did get it, we might be not happy with every single thing that we hear. But then again, I've seen these streams from very popular YouTubers who talk about how to improve your channel and stuff. And the thing is, like, if you're gonna pay to have that done, or if you're lucky enough that they do it for free in the middle of their stream, you know, I saw one guy not give any constructive feedback of any kind. All he said was, this is okay, yeah, this is not bad, you know, you're not doing bad here. And your thumbnails, you gotta brighten those up, okay? So brighten up those thumbnails. And I'm like, you're not saying anything. You didn't say anything to this person. What do you mean brighten them up? And does the person you're talking to even know how to brighten them up? Are you talking about take the brightness slider and move it up? I don't think that's constructive criticism. That really got me upset, as you can tell. Because I think that there's much more constructive things you can say that could be helpful. And what I often tell people is, like, so an idea, Canva has really improved over the last couple of years. Now, I don't use it because I'm a Photoshop guy, but I have used it. What I do use it for is to get inspiration, almost copy. But if you look at Canva and you type in like YouTube thumbnail, all these beautiful designs come up, right? So you can certainly use Canva to make thumbnails. And I promise you, even if you don't like it, it's worth the time, however long it might be, to learn how to use that thing and get the thumbnails going, right? If you're somebody who's not already putting a lot of work into thumbnails or not happy with what you're doing yet. So the only reason I know how to do graphic design now is because in my younger life, when I used to run parties for nightclubs and stuff like that, I could never get what I wanted for a flyer. The people that are hungry to work and willing to, you know, get things done on time didn't have the talent I was looking for. And the artists, I can't get them to do anything. Now that's just me, and that was back then. But I said, okay, I don't care if it takes all day or all week. I'm gonna sit here until I have a flyer that I'm happy with. And then I started making flyers. Now I can design and I'm proficient, right? But I still go to places like Canva for inspiration. So I go look at their thumbnails, say, this will be cool. Let me put my picture in a circle on the side, get the text nice and big, and put some more at the bottom, but not too much. And you can see even the thumbnail for this stream right now was almost copied from one on Canva. I just looked up YouTube thumbnail sunrise or something like that. And then if you notice what this thumbnail is, it's just a picture of me. I really should get something where I look like I'm walking, but I don't have one yet. But I just took a picture that's not bad and put it in the circle, and in the background, if you notice, that's Niagara Falls, where some of you know that I live. So that's what Canva You know, it can be good in a couple of different ways. You don't have to just use Canva. You can just, you know, when you see thumbnails that you like on YouTube, I often screenshot things for inspiration. So when I'm just on YouTube, I will, if I see a thumbnail that I think is really great or something that I want, I just screenshot it and keep it on the phone. And then I know eventually I'll go back to it. Or if I'm looking for like what kind of thumbnail can I make, I'll go look. Because while I am creative technically, I am not artistic. So I can't come up with the idea. When you say to me like, oh, can you like look at this room, imagine if we put the couch here and the lamp there and a picture on the wall. I can't see it. I can't see it the way that artistic people can see it. But if you tell me to make it on a computer, I can do that. You know what I mean? Yeah, Wolfsbear Productions has been a graphic designer for a long time. And then the difference is only in looking at what you're doing, looking at what's out there, like especially if you search for your own videos. So let's say an idea would be that you go on YouTube and you search what you think people should be searching to find your video. And you might have to scroll for a while because there might be a few above yours, right? More than a few in some cases. And you look at what those thumbnails are like. Sometimes there's anomalies. There's thumbnails that are atrocious, but the video still does well. And then, you know, sometimes there's spectacular thumbnails and the video doesn't go anywhere. But there's a lot more to it than that. But you could go and see. If you can start to discover what the difference is between the best thumbnails and what you've been doing on the videos that are not performing as well as you wish they were, then you'll be able to have inspiration and naturally get better as time goes on, in most cases. Oh, that's cool, yeah. If anybody wants to see another resource, remove.bg is a website, and if you can take a picture against a fairly dull background, like a blank wall, like what's behind me, that yellow wall there, if you could take a picture there, very easy for it to snap the background out. Technology's just gotten out of control for a long time now, so things they couldn't do 10 years ago are easy now. Yeah, Wolfsbear Productions, I never enjoyed taking the pen and drawing all the way around a person's face to try to get them out of a picture. That used to drive me bonkers. So I'm so thankful for these things. You know, and if you learn eventually to, let's say, use a green screen if it's appropriate for your channel, you can also use it for photos. If you learn how to light everything properly, it makes it really easy to get the background out. But these websites now, they're able to do it without even taking a picture on a dull background. That's just best case scenario. Oh, makes sense, Wolfsbear Productions. Yeah, I remember taking a pen and you had to like draw little tiny points and it would somewhat stick. It was almost like a magnet, right? The dots and the lines would stick to the side of the person's face, but you'd have to go back and adjust. I vaguely remember that. And that's interesting, Wolfsbear Productions. I wonder if an idea with Jester, you're driving so much, you might have the opportunity to just take a picture of Jester in front of asphalt. If you can angle it right, you'll get nothing but clean asphalt in the background, and that might help. Yeah, that's a tough thing. That's one of the things that I find frustrating when it comes time to do audio for myself, because I was using Sony SoundForge for whatever it was, 20 years. I was actually a beta tester on the very beginnings. And we even had to list it in one of the album credits. I forget who found that the other day for a CD that I mixed many years ago. But anyway, I now use Audacity because it's free and I want something that I can show people how to use. But I am nowhere near as proficient with that as I ever was with SoundForge. I gotta start this up for another 5 minutes now. I think we did the extra 5 minutes for the, like, what it calls a cool down. We'll pick up that last 5 minutes from yesterday too. Yeah, Audacity, and then Adobe. For those of you who use Photoshop and Illustrator and all that, Adobe has, and Premiere, Adobe has Audition. So Audition, my assumption would be a better program to use, but Audacity's free, and it's got way more features than SoundForge ever had that I used to use, so it's fine. I'll show everybody someday how to get better audio out of your video. Just how to pump it up. You'll notice that all of my videos from the very beginning, even when we're talking in a big room like this and you can hear the acoustics of the room because it's nothing but straight walls, I'll show you how to get the maximum volume out of your audio. But you can hear that from mine from the beginning, of course. Oh, interesting. Will Spare Productions. Yeah, I found myself jumping back in programs. Now I try to keep up with the newest stuff. Try to. When they update, I want to use the new stuff. I keep forgetting to set the watch for these indoor work walks too. It doesn't matter. I just care about the steps. I don't care about the rest of it. But I've always got the watch on, so yeah, I don't like change any more than anybody else, but some of it is inevitable. What I'm afraid of now, especially when it comes to software, first of all, I got to talk to people about what they're using, so I got to be pretty close. But as well, I don't want to fall too far behind because then it becomes so hard. Actually, I just had a problem with Final Cut Pro yesterday. I filmed 2 videos with my iPhone 12 mini, and the videos came into the program, they call it blown out, when they're 100 times brighter than they're supposed to be. It looks ridiculous. It looks like somebody shot a nuclear light into them or something. Anyway, you got to use a filter to fix it and everything, and I'm shaking my head. I'm like, it worked yesterday. I've done 500 videos in this program. What the hell is going on? And I promise you I have just as much frustration as anybody. Now I got to sort that out. And I went for the Band-Aid fix on that yesterday. I just looked up a YouTube video. Some guy knew how to fix it. I fixed it, but it doesn't solve the problem. The problem is getting the video filmed correctly. And I wonder if it's because I haven't been filming with the iPhone 12 mini a lot. Maybe that's why. I use it for streaming. Maybe I haven't used it for as much filming as I thought I did. But now that we're filming more, I'm gonna have to figure that out. I don't know if it's that or it's the program. I gotta uninstall and reinstall and try to keep track of which version I'm using, because I haven't upgraded my operating system on my newest Mac. So whatever we're supposed to be using, I'm using one behind. But that's an example. I wouldn't want to go 2 behind, but I stay 1 behind just so that when new programs come out and they have their quirks, they get a chance to get the bugs out before I start using them. Now, see, my watch thinks I've been on here for 17 minutes. You'd be surprised probably for all of the stuff that I have that I use. I don't use 99% of the features on this stuff. So the watch I wear every day, but I love having it because it gives you the opportunity to have messages come through without having your phone right beside you. So it's brilliant for when I'm working, if I'm outdoors, especially if I'm using skid steer loader or something like that, or we're working in concrete and stuff that's really dirty, I can leave the phone in the truck, but I got the watch that will let me know if something urgent comes through. There's almost never, right? It's Our Abundant Life. Good to see you in the house. Thanks for coming in. And thank you everybody for hanging out. We did it. We went our extra 10 minutes here, so I'm going to wrap it up. But you're all making it much easier to stay motivated. If nothing else, I wake up every day looking forward to the stream, more so than the treadmill, but it doesn't matter as long as we're here, right? And then I can't bet on tomorrow, so we're planning to not be here. If I can sneak a stream in, it will be surprised. Tuber Chat tonight's at 6. I moved it. And then thank you, It's Our Abundant Life. Thank you for that. I really do appreciate that extra support. Nuggets of wisdom, yes. And then we'll, if nothing else, be back on Saturday, where I will be at home, as a matter of fact. That's a feature of Streamlabs there, where the thing comes up on the screen. That's somewhat built in. Doesn't take too much to get that working. And then thank you, Shane. Yeah, that'll be cool. Oh, the Stock Explorer. Thank you for a super chat. Thank you for that. It's very absolutely unnecessary. You all know that, but very much appreciated, of course. It's funny how the chat, I get a thing in my chat that doesn't show quite the same way. I'll have to find a way to show this on screen someday, but it describes in detail the emoji, or whatever you want to call the icon on the super sticker. It says Shiba dog shaking his body from left to right, surrounded by red hearts. But I see it on the phone where I'm reading the chat. But thank you for that. Yeah, I figured you would for Shiba, right? all my crypto is down, every single thing. So I don't talk about it very much. I'm looking forward to the Stock Explorer, doing more of that, so I can learn. Oh, that makes sense. Yeah, StreamYard. I haven't used StreamYard in a while for this. Oh, Will Spare Productions, thank you so much. Now you guys are making me stay. I'll stay at 2 for now. But thank you for that. I really do appreciate that. We'll stay another few minutes. I'm actually not in a rush. I got to get back and work, but when I do what I do, I'm at work and I often stay there, right? So I'm literally there 16 hours. Even if you were there for a few days, nobody needs to work that much. So between my own stuff and the work I actually get done, it's fine, but there's never a rush. Yeah, so here's the thing, right? First Floor Audio, not that I want to push anybody into it yet, but there is an interesting fact, right? There was a big thing that just went on last month where a lot of stuff went in the tank and there was a real shakeup in the whole crypto industry. A couple people might be going to jail for that. But it shakes out a few things. Same thing happens in the stock market, same things happens everywhere. But apparently, only 6% of the world's population is in crypto right now. So you can imagine there's a lot of room for growth. But I don't put anything into crypto that I couldn't. I don't have a lot. I don't have a lot at all. But I don't put anything in there that I wouldn't bet the rent on it, let's say. I bought a bit a couple of summers ago. I bought a bit again recently, but it's money that I otherwise would have gone to the movies with, or dinners and stuff like that. Gold backs, I'll have to see what that is. I'm going to screenshot your message just so I remember that too. But thank you, Tony. Yeah, anything's possible, Tony. Anything's possible, that's for sure. But my guess is that it's going to get better. Binance took the opportunity to point out how strong and solid they are right after FTX went down in flames. For those of you keeping score. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. I can tell you I have made money in one way, just a small amount. I never bet large amounts of money on things that are skeptical, and I don't have large amounts of money to bet anyway. But what I did was, I heard about these play to earn games, right? So what happens is there's these games online that you can play and earn crypto while you play, and you can actually make money, and it's real. You can get into crypto. You don't even have to put anything in, but you can cash out and all this. Anyway, I always want to see what everything's about, right? I want to know how they work. So I found somebody who's very much into that stuff. And what I said to that person was, hey, I got an idea. Why don't I stake you, and we'll come up with a arrangement to reasonably split profits at a percentage or whatever. They went for it, and they more than doubled the money that I put in like a month. To get 100% on any amount of money in a month is wonderful. But that was a quick thing. That was something that was quick. They're not really into continuing on what they were doing, and they've moved on. But that's, an idea, right? If you can find somebody who's in a position you can complement, then maybe that's an idea too. Thank you, Michael's Adventures. Yeah, you never know. You never know, Tony. But they say that about everything. When franchises first came around, they said that they were all scams. They were frowned upon, if not banned, in certain jurisdictions or countries. And same thing with what are these companies called, like Avon and Amway and stuff like that, right? Because there's too much wrong, and the bad outshadows the good sometimes, right? All you need is one person to steal from one person, and then everybody will be like, oh, it's all thieves there, it's all scam artists. Okay, well, that happens everywhere. We see it every day. Anybody that's got a phone knows how many duck cleaning calls we all get, and all the other scams. I get a text at least once a week telling me I've got some Amazon thing that needs verification or something. They're getting really good too. I've seen stuff that even had me do a double take for PayPal or bank emails and stuff like that. In Canada, we don't have a wide variety of banks like they do in the United States, so we have our top 5. So if a scam artist wanted to go and text everybody in Canada, which is not hard to do these days, and say, you've got a deposit at Royal Bank, 1 out of 5 people is gonna possibly click that. That's a lot of people. All right, thanks everybody, and thank you for the extra motivation, because we stayed a few more minutes today, beyond what we're supposed to. But thank you, everyone. So we're expecting, like I said, to be back on Saturday, and we'll see most of you tonight at Tuber Chat as well. That could be an idea, Shizer. I'll have to look at that as well. So, Happy New Year to those of you who I haven't said it to yet, and hopefully you enjoy the rest of your day. So long.